just to make sure, are you guys hearing me? Can write in chat. I'm not gonna open my camera as well. Alright, okay. Okay, good. Okay, so we have 18 people currently. Okay, Bismillah, let me present my slide first. So, can you guys see my slide? Alright, okay, cool. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all of the participants. And today I'm going to not like explaining so much details in web vulnerabilities top 10. And today I'm not going to cover everything inside the Owasp scope. I'm going to cover like top 6 or top 7 for today, because the other 3 is quite complicated to show demo, and I've created my own vulnerable codes, step-by-step guides, and step-by-step web vulnerabilities that you can follow through. Okay, so how many of you guys have experience with cybersecurity? Anyone have at least? Does anyone have ever joined CTF competition, for example? Yeah. Okay, seems like no one. I think Naeem and Idlan have ever joined. I think Daniel, if Daniel is in here, he's also joined. Okay, so let's start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I'm going to introduce myself first. Okay, so like Brother Firdaus said, I'm still a student in IIUM. Obviously, I'm in KICT and studying information technology, and I'm also a CTF player. Not a fan of it, but it helped me a lot in understanding Linux and web and blah blah blah. Okay, but CTF, just to make you guys clear, CTF is not exactly the same as pen testing. So pen testing is mostly you focus on web vulnerabilities and how to privilege escalation when you have low privilege shell in someone's server or someone's computer. And CTF is for the sake of capturing the flag, and I think CTF is not a real life, but CTF is good. I'm not saying that it's bad, but it is going to help you think more in enumerating. Okay, so second, I've joined few boot to root competition. For example, Try Hack Me have organized a workshop called Try Hacked IT. I think that's how they pronounce it. So I managed to get top 3 globally, and I also joined Pontildon, and I managed to secure top 9 out of, I can't recall, I think it's 60 players globally, and also hacked the box. But okay, I'm also a content developer for VanHub and Try Hack Me. Try Hack Me is going to release my room very soon. I'm not sure, but it's going to be like this week or next week. Also, you can search my box on Valhub. Later after the workshop, I can show you demo of it. And okay, so a little bit I want to touch on my previous experience. I cannot say I'm an expert in pen testing and all, or in enumerating in. I'm not an expert. I just started like 7 or 8 months ago, right before the pandemic, and thanks to the pandemic, at least something good happened in 2020 for me. I managed to learn quite a lot, and I learned day by day, and knowing people from Discord server, knowing people from other countries that are in the same field, and we share knowledge and blah blah blah, and that's how I learned during the pandemic. So if you guys have more experience on doing that in this kind of stuff, please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so let's move on. That's enough of myself. Okay, so today I'm going to present about broken authentication. I'll dig deeper after this, and also sensitive data exposure, also XSS, or known as cross-site scripting, and second is broken access control, and second is injection, and for the security misconfiguration. Okay, so you can see that there's a dot in front, means it's hidden. If you are familiar with the Linux command. So I'm not going to cover security misconfiguration because it takes quite some time to configure vulnerable service for it. And second, as XC, I'm going to cover insecure deserialization. I'm not going to cover because it, like I said before, it requires lots of effort to develop a vulnerable code. And second last is using component with known vulnerabilities. And then the last one is insufficient logging and monitoring. Okay, so let's move on. If you want to do it together, you can do it by opening web.aniqfakhrul.com, port 3443/Owasp. Do not do anything evil on it because I think I patched every single hole. If you found a hole, please let me know. Okay, so it's web.aniqfakhrul.com. I'm going to okay, thanks. I hope you guys can access it. Can you guys see the page? Okay, cool. All right. So okay, I'm going to share my screen back and forth between my I think I'm just going to open it in my VM. How do I do this? Okay. Let me share my so you guys can see my VMware, right? Okay. I hope you guys see my VMware. I'm going to just open my slide inside my Kali instead. Where we okay, this one. Okay, so we're going to cover the first one is broken authentication. So I'm going to read it back just in case if you don't want to read. So the application function related to authentication and session management are often implemented incorrectly, allowing attackers to compromise password, keys, or session tokens, or to exploit other implementation flaws, or assume other users identify temporarily or permanently. So if you are developing if you are a developer, if you want to create an authentication function, that requires username and password, please, especially this kind of vulnerability mostly affect in PHP or JavaScript. If you are not using any framework, I think the latest framework should patch this thing. Okay. If you are using a JavaScript code to authenticate, you can clearly bypass the authentication if it's vulnerable or not secure. I think it's the same thing. So let's try enter the first thing had you when you see a login for username and password. This is my from my experience, we can actually gain session if we enter admin and password admin. So unlucky for this time. So let's try admin password. So I don't think that they use a default credential uh, inside this login page. So let's try looking at source code if you can find anything. So nothing. We can see a CSS and also a form, a post form. Nothing obvious. So let's try looking at oh, okay, by the way, you can open this by, I think it's right click, inspect element. You can open it in storage, sorry, network. Let's see network. If so, nothing. Let's see in storage. Okay, what storage is it stores cookies. If you are not authenticated, or you have authenticated, will normally store cookies in here. If you open Lazada or Shopee, if you log in, or Facebook or anything, this PHP session ID will normally be applied to you uniquely. Okay, so let's try. So we can see that. Oh my god, this is too small. Okay, so you can see that we have two, authenticated and also PHP session. We can see that this page is, I'm going to make this big. Okay, we can see that this don't normally have in login page right before you are authenticated. So it shouldn't be here, and the value is set to false. Means the backend code is just verifying us if you're authenticated or not right before we log in. So we try to change the value to true. Really? No, I cannot see anything in it because I developed in PHP. It shouldn't be appearing here. Okay, so let's try to change it to true and refresh the page and resend. And we have bypassed the login page. The previous one is I don't think you can find it anywhere on the famous website, or because that is a very simple bypass authentication bypass. So are you guys following along? Anyone still don't understand how I do it? Just right click, open inspect element. In storage, just change cookies to value, change the value to true. So means the login page understood that we are authenticated. True. So we have bypass. So anyone have questions? So I'm going to ask questions. If you have questions, please ask. I'm going to ask question like each step to make sure that everyone understand. Don't have any question? Okay, let's go back to step 1, right? Oh, what's the page again? Step 1. Wait, I'm gonna open it in. You can see if there's anything in the source code. I believe not. No, I don't think so. In the source code, because I developed this code in PHP. PHP won't be rendered in your browser. Okay, so let's move on to step 2, sensitive data exposure. So many web application or APIs do not properly protect sensitive data such as financial, healthcare, blah blah blah. Attackers may steal or modify such weakly protected data to conduct credit card fraud, identity theft, or other crimes. Sensitive data may be compromised without extra protection, such as encryption or address or in transit, or requires special precautions when exchanged with the browser. So no, this is the key point. Attackers may steal or modify such weakly protected data to conduct credit card fraud, identity theft, or other crimes. So in this case, we are going to focus on identity theft. So we still have a login page. If we enter admin or admin password, no, invalid username or password. If we repeat the same step, we are already through. So I don't think this will make a difference in step 2. Okay, let's try look at the source code like before. So reading all of that, we can see that there is a commented line. Say charm, I just leave it in conf. This is obviously a web developers communicating inside the source code. Maybe it's still in production, or maybe maybe it's still in development process. So charm, I just leave it in conf. What can you understand from conf? If let's see if there is a directory for conf. Luckily there is. So conf.db. You have conf.db in here. We can try download it. I don't think you can do this in your computer, but Notepad can open this. Try to force open this conf.db, but it will show not in human readable. But you can still see the password, I think. If you try, let's make a folder in here. Whoops. So we just download conf.db. So I think if you just cat conf.db, you can still see something that can be read by human at least. So let's try to open the conf.db. Normally .db file normally can open by SQLite. So let's try see if there is any tables. So there is a users table. So we can try select all from users. So we can see that we have super admin, we have charming bear. I don't know who that is, but this admin. Maybe this is the developer, and we have admin account. If hackers, they would probably attack admin first because they would have a highest privilege on the CMS or also a certain website. So let's enter the password. Admin and lala12345. What is a secure password? Admin lala12345 and login. So we are now in to step 3, not yet in. Okay. So any question or anyone left behind? I'm going to give like 1 minute. If you guys have question, at the end of the session, I'm going to show a real life, quite a real life vulnerability that you have to protect yourself from. So sit back and chill. No questions? Okay, I guess let's just move on. Okay. This one is cross-site scripting. Okay, what does it mean by cross-site scripting? I'm going to show you in my Gedit. Sorry, not this one. Gedit, if I have Gedit text editor. Okay. Normally in source code, you can see that we have HTML. If you are familiar with HTML, and we have head tag, and we have some title tag in here, and this doesn't matter. So we have a body tag in here, and we have some sort of forms in here. Okay, in this form, it accepts this kind of like, for example, email. So in email, let's say if we, okay, let's just assume that this is a form. Okay, if we insert something like to break the HTML code, for example, if we have if the developer try to insert script, if we insert something in here like script or alert 1. Okay, this is a JavaScript function to just display something or pop up. Let's try hello world. Okay, so this will be rendered or executed inside HTML. So attackers or bug hunters always try this in a web form to see if it's vulnerable. Let's say if it have script function in here, and also the form is actually in script. You can actually break a script function by entering script, close script, and enter your malicious JavaScript. Okay, so let's try to enter script alert hello world. So there you go. We have hello world as our pop-ups now. So JavaScript is alerting that. So let's try again. You can exactly enter anything inside this script type. You can even change the background color using DOM functions. And for this case, we always want to see that there is a document. I cannot recall. Let me just Google it. Just Google it. Let's see. By the way, you can use this repo if you want to see that there are so many payloads in here. Let's try XSS. Let's try a basic one. You can see that there is a cookie in here. There you go. We want a document cookie. Okay, let's try to enter like, sorry, script alert, document cookie, script. Going to copy this just in case if it doesn't work, so I don't have to type it all over again. So just click submit, and there you go. We have a secret directory, super secret directory. Yep, we have a super secret directory. Just copy this and paste it after the OAuth. We are going to enter into step 4. Oh, super secret no S. Okay, there you go. It's 5. It's starting with 5. Super secret directory. If you want to try it, I'm just going to paste it in the chat. Okay, so we have. Anyone have questions before I move on to step 4, broken access control? I think it should be someone in this call have done this challenge, this OAuth challenge, because I sent it in SIG group before. So no question, huh? No questions? Okay, let's move on broken access control. So broken access control is restriction on what authenticated users are allowed to do are often not properly enforced. Attackers can exploit this flaw to access unauthorized functionality and or data, such as access other users' account, view sensitive file, modify users' data, change access right. So what this means is actually, let's say if you are unauthenticated and the URL says that something like www. Let's say aniqfakhrul.com /index.php, let's say ID is equal to 2, and it displays Aniq as a user, and this term is actually called IDOR. You can Google it for more. IDOR is actually if you are if you register to a site and you have your own ID and you have a low privilege user, you are not admin, so you cannot modify anything. Let's say if this site shows more on the user ID, and we have, sorry, I'm going to use this one, and this has let's say credit card number and blah blah, and also let's a 3-digit number at the back. I can't recall what the terms, what is the term. So let's just enter credit card number. So if you are try and error 1, 2, 3 until let's say 100. Let's say if you get a hit on 65, let's say, and ID 65 is actually admin. So it can reveal admin ID is 65 and credit card number of the admin. That's funny, but this is some websites are vulnerable to this. This is called IDOR once again. This is also one of the scope from broken access control. But this one I'm going to show broken access control means if you click on photosynthesis, it can show that what is meant by photosynthesis. I don't think you have to read that. As you click on this, maybe this is, oh, Mr. Cham is going to teach you about plants and reproduction. Ancestry, blah blah blah. Okay. So another thing, what is mean by broken access control, if you are again a normal user, you are, let's say Aniq is a normal user, and the website have vulnerabilities that allows Aniq to access internal file. Let's say @c password. This is actually uh, a file that can show much more users. Okay, let's just, enough talking, let's just go through it. Okay, so web application Owasp, we create a button and we can see that the variable is shown right in the URL. So if you click respiratory, you can render respiratory, reproduction, and it shows reproduction. So let's try. So I'm assuming this is reading a file called photosynthesis. So let's try to enter like dot slash. Okay, why am I doing this? Because sorry. Okay, why am I doing this? Because let's say I'm in Owasp and I have other directory, one, and I have 1, 2. So I'm in site 2. Let's say I want to display @c password. I have to go back to the root directory, because root is I think it's better for me to just, this is the root directory and we have @c in here and password. Okay, you want to go back to the root directory. This is very, very technical. If you are in home, Aniq, another directory, you have to go back like 1, 2 so that you can read the @c password. This is not necessary, but you still can do it. @c password. There you go. You can, it is messed up. You can view in source code instead. Right click, view page source. So this is the file @c password. You a normal user like Aniq is not an admin to the site, so you should not read this kind of file. So you can see that there is a root user, there's a daemon user, there is a games user, there's a backup user. So let's go thoroughly in this. Let's copy this and paste it in here. So we can see that reading through all this, we have a backup user with a note left inside @c password that's not supposed to be happen. I left a monitoring system on final step. There you go. Next hint. Let's try to just enter final step here. Replace the super secret directory and enter final step. Okay, so step 5. I think I'm going to go through all of this back in slides. I'm going to explain more. So far, anyone have questions? If you have questions, please ask. There are 23 people in here. How are you guys doing? Am I going too fast? Okay, I think everyone's doing good. So let's just move on to step 5, command injection. So command injection, let's read this. Injection files such as SQL, NoSQL, OS, or LDAP injection occurs when untrusted data is sent to an interpreter as part of the command query. The attacker hostile can trick the interpreter into executing unintended commands or accessing data without proper authorization. So command injection, you can do a let's say SQL. If SQL, I'm going to show you something like, let's remove all this. Okay, you can see inside the website a PHP code. Let's say the query is equal to select username password from table, let's say WP users, which is WordPress users and users. Okay, yep. Let's try where ID is equal to, let's try username is equal to Aniq. Yep, this is the query. Okay, so there is a form in here that accepts. This should be the username that you enter here. Let's say that you enter on the form tag, let's say admin or password. Okay, so anything that you enter in this form will be executed inside this query. So how about, okay, you can see that this query have this single quote and one more single quote. What happened if we insert something like another single quote? So this query will become like this. And if the developer do not sanitize this code, the web page will display a MySQL error. MySQL error means you can inject something. So that is what I mean by SQL injection. So you can do something like in SQL query, you have also command like you can do this and it will render like this. So the SQL query will ignore everything on the right and you can inject code inside here. Let's say you want to sleep for 2 seconds. It will render in here. So there will be no more query after this because you enter this SQL command. Let's just delete that. So this is a valid SQL query. So no username. Instead, you want to sleep for 2 seconds. You can inject anything inside here. So there is a MySQL. So this is a command injection. Okay, command injection. So server monitoring, ping your server. Let's say let's ping localhost 127.0. This is an IP for localhost. So let's click submit, and it will ping your server. Your ping something. You can ping like Google or anything. Okay. So what the code does is actually ping 127.0.0.1 C2. So it's ping 127.0.1 and then this is what I mean by command injection. You can inject command by breaking the command ping by entering something. Let's say who am I? So root. Let's say you want to display a current directory. Let's just insert pwd. So we are in tmp Owasp 1.2. Let's try entering something else. Let's say cat at c password. See, you can inject command in here. So you can do exactly the same thing. Instead, if you don't want to wait because this requires some time for ping, so just break the command right in front. Don't have to enter the IP address. You can enter like ID. So it's a www data user, low privilege user, and you can enter ls minus la. Okay, ls. Okay, just in case you are not familiar with Linux command, ls is for listing something. I don't have anything in here. Let's try list in here. So I have confdb, like I downloaded earlier, and I have a directory called one. So if you want to display a bit detail or a hidden directory, you have to just ls minus la. So if you just ls listing something, there is just index of php file. If you're getting the index.php file, I don't know if there's a term called catting, just click submit and you can see that it redundant stuff. Okay, you can just ls minus la. You can see that there is a node for json.txt, so you can view. Before I view it, I just want to say that this is also vulnerable if you want to browse the whole website. Okay, I just want to share this story because I created this page like I think it's 3 weeks ago, and the outside people who are in currently a working environment, who work in company, he tried my he tried my CTF questions. I also have a CTF question in here, my CTF platform, sorry. So I have in here, so for him to there is a one question that he cannot solve. So what he did was he browsed my website. Let's say what HTML, let's say challenges, something challenge, and to view the source code, and he got the unintended way of solving the challenge. That's not supposed to be okay. But in this case, I already sanitized the code, so you cannot just cat at C password. You cannot. I think you cannot. So you just can hover around in current directory lsla. So you can read .node-4-json. So you can cat and paste the file, and there you go. We have a node-4-json. Check my newly deployed web server on port 8080. It is still on development process. Don't spread this just yet. Here's your temp credentials. So you have JSON and password J4XX0N. So let's copy this and paste this in our notepad. And JSON, and also so it said that check my newly deployed web server on port 8080. Let's try. Great. The web server is asking for username and password. Let's cancel this out. Let's copy the password first and refresh the page. JSON, paste the password. We are in step 6. Perfect. Okay. So XXE. What is XXE? I can't recall what is XXE. Let's view the payloads in here. So XXE, this is the payload that you can use for XXE. So for example, XML is something that you can use inside the website to easier your task as a developer. So XML, I think XXE means Let me Google first. Okay, XXE means XML external entity. XML external entity. So we are injection. We are going to inject this thing. So this is why it's called XXE. Okay, XML external entity. Okay, let's try to enter one of the payload. Let's copy this one. Oh, just in case, if I'm going to give you the link to the repo, let's copy the simple one and paste it inside here. So what the XML code does, okay, so this is called entity. We create a new malicious entity. Entity is a term inside XML. So you create a new malicious entity to read a file from system, and file is equal to @c password, and you want to display data is like a body tag for HTML. So you can enter the file variable. Entity file is actually a variable in here. So you want to display the file inside the data type. So let's copy this and click submit. We can see one more time the @c password. So the same @c password like we see earlier. Okay, let's try to enter. Okay, so attackers can exploit vulnerable XML process if they can upload XML or include hostile content in an XML document, exploiting vulnerable code, dependencies, or integration. Find proof.txt. So proof.txt. Anyways, I'm going to make this easier because this is a CTF question. I'm going to make this easier. It's actually in root directory. You can read in /root/proof.txt. Change the directory to this and copy and click submit. Oh, the flag is messed up. This is actually a bare image. Let's view source code. So it looks, at least it looks like a bear. So congrats for completing this challenge. Here's the flag. So you have reached the final step, which is XXE. So anyone have a question before I move on? I'm going to show you the second part. I'm going to switch screen. Chrome tab. Okay, I'm going to show you. Sorry. I'm going to show you one more subtopics, which is this one. Which one? Okay, unknown component with known vulnerabilities. Okay, this can be affected by lots of stuff. For especially CMS. For example, WordPress. If anyone have used WordPress before or have experience using WordPress or any other CMS, I'm going to give you like 4 or 5 minutes. If you have any question, please ask, because I'm going to deploy another VM. Let's take a like 3-minute break. If you have question, please ask. If you feel bored or anything, I think you can open a new tab and open a calming soundtrack from YouTube. Okay, before I move on, let's recap. It's not 3 minutes, right? Oh, you guys don't need break lah. Already 5 months at home. Okay, let's recap. So for broken authentication, I have a diagram for it. So let's say if a victim is accessing his Shopee actually have a cookie that can be exported. Let's say if I export my friend's cookie, for example, a session ID. This is a very simple cookie. Session ID, and the attacker enter the same session ID, exactly the same, and he can eventually access the web server as the victim. So that is what it means by broken authentication. The next one is sensitive data exposure. Like you see, I'm exposing my conf.db file in my website directory. That is shouldn't be happening. You cannot store any important files or information inside your web server, because attackers have a way to exploit it. Okay, so let's this is a real world case, sensitive data exposure. So an attacker can enter a spear phishing email, like you receive, for example, if you want to win a Bitcoin, uh, a Bitcoin, let's say, for example, and then it bypassed the firewall, also the email filtering. This is quite easy to bypass. A firewall is quite a harder part for you to bypass. And the email received by the user, and the user click the link, and the compromised user, of course, when the attacker enter something in the spear phishing email, I can show you the scenario, but it's okay. So you just going to continue, and the user click the link, and he has been compromised, and the attacker can hover around in his computer and also can gain persistence. What I mean by persistence is he, for example, he create a malware, his own version of malware, to keep connecting back to him every time, even though let's say if the user shut down the computer, and the next time he boot the computer back, let's say the next morning, and the computer will give connection back to the attacker. So that is what I mean by persistent access. So computer user, and then the attacker can gain the sensitive files, and it can go back through the proxy. For example, if he want to gain the file back, I don't have to explain more detail in proxy because it's quite advanced. Basically, this is just a bridge for him to transfer file from, let's say, he's in Singapore and this guy is from Malaysia. So of course you have to bypass few stuff, like say IDS or anything for you to download the files. Okay, let's move on. Cross-site scripting, like I said, the script type, and you have the alert hello world, like we view the document cookie. Okay, there is actually okay, so the attacker insert the script like I did before, the malicious code, and this guy is actually planting something in this website. That is why I said that cross-site scripting is very dangerous, because the attacker can actually plant something persistent on the site. So website visitor can actually visit the site and infected by the code, and the attacker can gain any useful information about the visitor, and the attacker can actually get a session cookie of this visitor, let's say Shopee, and he can use his credit card, unfortunately. Okay, so the next one is broken access control. So Bob, this is IDOR, like I said before, IDOR. Bob user code 126, and he entered 123 instead, the value, and get Jennifer instead. So credit card, SSN number, blah blah. Let's move very fast. Command injection, this is exactly what we did before. So we enter IP and enter PWD instead to view the current directory. So XML, the attacker enter the XXE code inside the payload, and XXE is being rendered or executed by XML parser by the code, and he can read the file system, the attacker. Okay, using common with known vulnerabilities, components such as libraries, framework, and other software modules run with the same privilege as the application. If a vulnerable component is exploited, such an attack can facilitate serious data loss or server takeover. So this is my final demo. Let me know if you guys cannot see my screen. I'm going to stop presenting and switch my screen back to my VM. So can you guys see my screen? Okay, great. Okay, let's create a directory called demo. I'm going to make this quite big. Okay, this is. So do you guys have any questions before I move on to how to secure this stuff? Have any questions? I know I went too fast in explaining that because I just want to focus on the CMS part and to show you what actually your password can be brute force if you use simple password. That's why some of the celebrities, because celebrities, I'm 98% sure that they are using because I have experience, they are using a very, very short and simple password. And what are tools and operating system use? Tool, but I'm using Kali Linux. You can download Kali, is open source, but do not use Kali as your daily driver because you cannot. You can actually do assignments on it, but it is not proper. And Kali is actually meant for pen testing or CTF or blah blah blah. You can actually use Ubuntu or any Linux distros for this one because again, it's Linux, but with but different distros. That's it. And tools. There is a lot of tools out there. Actually, you can go and I'm sorry, I feel bad for answering like this, but you can Google the tools that can be used because I don't want to endorse any tools in this workshop. Okay, so let's move on. Thanks. Okay. Okay, let's can we secure this? Of course we can. Okay. So checklist to secure your digital life. Use strong password and don't forget it, or two-factor authentication. Or I recommend you guys to, for example, if you log into your Gmail account, please use too far. Means it's a wait, give me 1 minute. Mm, okay, use strong password and do not forget it. Of course, do not forget your password, because if you are attempting to use a strong password, I have experience. I think you guys also have experience. You are acah-acah going to use a strong password, and then end up you forget your password. And I recommend you guys to use the same password but with different combinations. Okay. Or use two-factor authentication. Okay, let's move on. Don't expose your personal details online, pets or parents' name, because eventually, if you expose your favorite pet, your parents' name, you can, for example, if I want to change my CIMB clicks password, they will ask that kind of questions. Uh, Wait, give me 1 minute. Okay, so you can actually reset your password. You can enter, let's say my favorite pet is, I will enter, if the website asks me what is your favorite pet for security question, I will answer no, because I don't have a favorite pet. So yeah, you can actually expose your your security questions. So programmer, please inspect and sanitize your code. Like I said before, if you are going to do something that can be executed by, for example, the login page, please sanitize your code. Do not let the attackers exploit something that is very, very simple. And update everything. Like I did before on the CMS part, it is using the 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 previous version that is very, very vulnerable. And please update your CMS, or update your phone, update your Android, or anything. Just update. It's not, if you have fast internet, you can update everything. And of course, you know what to do. You handle your own stuff. You protect your own data and everything. So thank you so much. I think that is all from me. So I have covered top 7 actually, from top 10 OWASP. Again, I'm sorry I cannot cover all of them, because some of the parts require a lot of effort and it's actually quite complicated to be done. So does anyone have questions? And if you are shy to ask, you can ask me. There is my email, aniq@makoba.org. And you can even reach me on Discord. It's Charm and ID is 1337. And I'm sorry, I changed my Discord ID. It's not 1337. It's Charm 6068. I'm going to write it in chat. Okay. So my LinkedIn is Aniq Fakhrul and website is aniqfakhrul.com. So anyone have any questions, please ask. 2 minutes before I end my sharing session. Welcome, 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 Annette. So, no questions? So if no questions,
Aniq, I ask question in the chat.
oh, okay. Using strong password and 2FA will secure it completely or only delay hacking stuff. A strong password. It is actually very, very hard to answer, but let's say like this. If you use strong password, it is almost impossible for attackers to brute force or even guess your password. Guess is of course cannot. Obviously, if you use something like nama Melayu punya password, and the attackers from outside cannot guess it or even brute force it, because your password does not appear in their word list or something. And this is actually possible if the website you register, for example, you register on pinterest.com with your email and password, and the website have vulnerabilities and actually can reveal the whole database. For example, the website have SQL injection vulnerabilities, and attackers can attack the whole website and gain the whole database and dump the whole database. So only then you can check your haveibeenpawned.com. There is a website for it. So to see that if your password have been pawned. And two-factor authentication actually is very secure, because every time you want to authenticate, the service will SMS you the pin, the 6-digit pin, and yeah, it's secure unless the back end part is messed up, so the attackers can inject it or something. But there is rarely to be happen.
So do you mean regardless how strong our password is, if the system or database has been compromised, our password are being exposed?
Yes, unfortunately, yes. It is possible.
So actually strong password is just the first line of defense.
Yep.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. So, any questions? I don't think you guys have any questions, so I'm going to welcome. No problem. Oh, that is a very cool. Thanks, bro Aniq with digits. Okay, I'm going to give my floor back to Firdaus. Thanks, guys, and stay secure.
Thank you, Brother Aniq Fakhrul, for the wonderful session. It is hoped that students will be more aware about cybersecurity and learn something from this workshop. Before we end our workshop, let us open our camera for a photography session. And also don't forget to fill in the feedback form before the session ends. Thank you.